afternoon.
Good afternoon.
How's everybody?
Doing great.
How are you?
Good. Good. Excuse me. I understand your teams have been selected. Is that true?
Yeah.
Okay. Could you please give me the name of your team and explain why you chose the name?
We're the class 2005, and we chose the Green Monkeys
And why?
because we're big Nickelodeon fans, and we love the TV show Legends of the Hidden Temple.
Legends of the Hidden Temple.
Yep.
I think I've missed that one.
Yep.
Somewhere along the line, I didn't get into my viewing repertoire.
Hello.
Hello,
We're the
Lawrence.
class of 2006 and 2005, the underclassmen, and we are micro core, and we chose that because we are a small unit, and we're going to win this.
I like that confidence. You got to like that, right? In business, confidence is very, very important. Okay. Now that I understand the names of your team and how you've chosen them, I'm going to give you your task. General Mills, everybody's familiar with that company?
Yeah.
That's a $7.7 billion U.S. ready-to-eat cereal company. One of the biggest in the world, actually. They would like to enhance the image of their cereal Cheerios. Anybody ever have these?
Yeah.
Yes, I've seen them. You've seen them? Okay, it's a pretty basic product by General Mills, and they've had a lot of success with it over the years. Actually, a lot of success with it all over the world. They'd like to enhance the image of the cereal Cheerios with their younger demographic group of children, ages 3 to 14. General Mills also wants to increase their market share within this demographic. Everybody understand that?
Yeah.
So we're targeting 3 to 14. They want to increase their market share because of a variety of issues that take place, and I'm sure you've been studying that. Your team's assignment is to make a commercial that will appeal to this age group and increase the sales of Cheerios without changing the product in any way. You'll be judged on your teamwork, creativity, innovativeness, and believability. We'll meet back here in the boardroom on Friday, April 22nd. And remember, and I have talent for this, Mrs. Benz can attest to that, someone must be fired. Okay, good luck. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
You can leave her. You can leave her. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
It's Friday afternoon, so I dressed down a little. Hope you don't mind. I'm going to have a good view, yeah? Okay. So here we are. Do we have the project leaders for the two teams?
Yeah.
And who are you going to bring with you
Well,
to the boardroom?
I will bring Lauren.
Oh, first we're going to watch. Is that correct?
Lauren.
Oh, they lost.
Okay. First we'll watch.
Nice to meet you, Mr. Domenico, Ms. Wagner. How are you guys today?
Excellent.
Thank you.
We are Microcorp and I hope you enjoy.
Okay.
We're Team Green Monkeys, and we did a younger demographic commercial for our students because we feel younger students like Cheerios more than older students because younger students go to the store with their parents and they bother their parents for their food.
I'd like to start with MagnaCorp. What were some of the criteria for this commercial? What was one of the main criteria?
It was for younger kids, you know, to get stronger bones and they can be better at things.
When I came here the last time, we discussed that this commercial should be a certain length of time, didn't we?
Yes.
And what was that length of time?
About a minute.
And how long was this one?
I think it was about a minute and a half.
Minute and a half? And when you buy television time, you got to buy by time, right?
Mhm.
So if it's over a minute, actually I think the criteria was 30 seconds to a minute, wasn't it?
Yes.
So you're really way over the established criteria for the commercial and length of time.
Yes, sir.
And that means that to market this product, the marketing campaign is going to be significantly more expensive, right?
Yes, sir.
In buying the TV time. And how about the use of the music in this particular commercial?
It was, you know, to make them go faster and, you know, for him to build, you know, get stronger faster so he can do better
It's a
things.
little difficult to hear, and I don't know if that's really something for us to deal with because that could be very well, you know, the technical capability that you may have versus what, you know, a production team probably could do a better job with that, but that was a little bit difficult to hear, and the audio in general was a little bit difficult to hear. But how long do you think the average viewer would pay attention to that length of a commercial?
No.
Now, how many people did you have on your team?
8.
And they all played a role?
Yeah.
Because that was also part of the criteria, wasn't it? Did everybody be involved? That was a very important part of the criteria also. What did the different people do?
Jancy was the mom of Chucky.
Let me say who? Who?
Jancy.
She was the mom, yeah?
Yeah. Ojo was the film director.
Mm-hmm. So it's his fault that the sound wasn't good?
Nah, it just need to be turned up on the TV.
Why didn't you turn it up?
So I wasn't over there.
Why didn't you go over there? Nah, never mind.
Gabe, he did a lot on here. He was always, you know, like, he had Chucky do what he had to do. He was always there, you know. He was
He was the
guiding him.
enforcer?
Yes. John was, you know, he helped him out. He was helping. He got a lot of the other players for the tryout team. He got all of them to be there on time. Scott.
Production, he was the production chief?
Yeah.
Producer?
Yeah. Scott was, you know, he was always there. He was making sure, like, everything's in line. Like, if John messed up or, you know, couldn't get somebody there, Scott was always there to back him up.
Yeah, that one day, I remember he was involved heavily.
Yeah.
That I was involved.
2 people that are unable to make it are Felicia and Lauren. Lauren was never here. She had nothing to do. You know, she's maybe here 1 or 2 times out of 2 weeks. She did nothing. All she did was like text on her phone, and we can't have that as a team player. And Felicia, she wrote all the scenes and everything, and she did a very good job.
They're not here.
Oh no, they're not. I'm unable to make it.
Neither of them are present. Is that correct? Just absent. Okay.
Do you think the average viewer would have known what the commercial was about?
Yeah.
You do? Because I think your concept was a good concept. However, if you look at the commercial in the very beginning, it says Cheerios, and then you don't see a Cheerios box for about a minute into the commercial. So I think you may have lost the audience a little bit during that time. I think your concept is good. I think, you build it on strength, and you build it within the teenage population, which is a wonderful thing. But I think you would have lost the audience on that fact.
Yeah, and that actually, on that point, having done some marketing, particularly in politics where you're actually marketing people, one of the most important things is name frequency. And we used to say when marketing in politics that we should market people like we market Cheerios, which is name over and over and over again. And that's an interesting analogy, and you made me think about it, that we actually use Cheerios as the analogy in this particular case. But I did understand where you were going with this. I just wondered if it's... Let me ask you this. Did you think that selling Cheerios through athletic performance was a new concept? Because in my mind, I don't associate Cheerios with athletes.
Yeah.
So you think that's
yeah,
going to work?
It's a new concept. Yeah. Because the milk's there too, and all that good
I mean, I
stuff.
associate Wheaties with athletes. There's always athletes on their box. And I associate Cheerios with a younger demographic. But that's your attempt to market to that group. You're
Yes.
trying to find that niche. Okay. Right. Anything else?
No.
Because you're quite experienced in this one. And Green Monkeys. Now, obviously, you took a completely different tact. And again, I think you were more within the time criteria than...
Ours was 55 seconds long. There was over 2 minutes and 15 seconds long. So,
You timed it, I guess.
yes. And I lost interest within 30 seconds. I didn't know where they were going.
Well, let's focus on your group.
Yeah, I know. We already did theirs.
Okay.
Yeah, it already happened. Why did you choose to have this semi-violent theme?
Well, we didn't feel it was semi-violent. We feel
It's
that
violent?
that's how kids went, because, I don't know. We didn't feel it was violent.
You don't know?
No, I didn't feel it was violent.
Okay.
I didn't take that look at it. That it was
Well, there's a
violent.
certain element of violence in it.
There's a certain element of violence on all TV, though.
Who were you trying to attract with this commercial?
Younger kids.
You want younger kids to watch
Yes.
that commercial, and you think their parents would allow them to watch a child 3, 4, 5 years old beat somebody up with a bat?
It was in fun. It's not like we went to kill the kid.
Well, what I'm saying to you is that it's about perception, because you're not going to be in the living rooms to be able to explain that to the parents. So
kids-
do you believe that parents will allow their little children to watch that commercial?
Yes.
You believe that because, and I'm dead serious about this, do you believe that because you think they'll allow them, or you think because the parents won't know they're watching it?
A little bit of both. I feel parents will like the commercial also. I feel as the students watched it, they laughed and they had a good time watching it, and I feel parents will too.
So if you were a parent, you would have a good time watching a little kid beat on a man with a bat.
Yes.
You would feel good about that for your children.
I feel if there's a 3-year-old beating up a 30-year-old, then that'd be funny.
I see.
I
One of your
think
colleagues is trying to get in here. I don't know if
Oh,
that's
okay. Can I
appropriate.
say something?
Is that appropriate or not? I don't know if
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, we like things like Bugs Bunny and all that stuff where there's like dynamite and all that. Like a certain level of violence is comedic, especially to little kids. And we thought that we want to try and target like the higher part of this demographic because it's the younger part that goes with their parents to the grocery store. And they're the ones who tell. So they would think this is funny and they would be like, they would want to try them out. And I think that it's not like there's like blood or anything like that. I think that it's a good amount. Like, it's not like too much, and it's like cartoons. Like, I mean, it's funny.
Well, the difference is a cartoon is a cartoon, and you're dealing with real people, so it gives a different perception than a cartoon would give. I believe, my personal belief is that this would target more teenage level because all of you laughed at it. But I don't believe a 4-year-old or a parent of a 4 or 5-year-old would laugh at it.
We showed
So
the
I
com-
believe that the commercial is probably targeted more towards the adolescent age than it is the younger age.
We were able to show the commercials at the house with over 5 kids, and they all laughed, and they said it was a good time, and they liked the commercial. So I feel, after giving them market research with 6 or 7 kids watching it, they liked it.
And were the parents in the room with
Yes.
the children?
And they laughed too.
Yes.
Well, I'll give you this. It has a comedy side to it. But again, I'm wondering. Yes, there's a comic side to it, and I can understand that. And I think you've achieved that goal. It's catchy in that regard. I think it's very creative in that regard. I want to go back to your comment. Was that based on research that you did, or was that based on your own gut instinct?
No, like he said, I mean, there was other kids there, so then we knew when. Like, if I understand if he was older.
You made a key comment. You said that children go shopping with their parents at that age,
about that, yeah.
and that they tug on their parents' aprons.
Yeah, because like if they're in a
Parents
shopping
go
cart,
weird.
they say, I want that, or I want this, when they're like sitting in the shopping cart with their mom, or something like that.
Parents
And
blindly follow.
Yeah, well, sometimes. I mean, they don't always give in, but.
But did you do research on that, or you just know that?
Well,
from
no, I mean, if you
experience?
walk around and like, I mean, when I was younger, I'm sure I did it, and I know other people have done it, and it's like if you, you see it if you go to like a grocery store or something, you see kids.
Did you do any empirical research, any kind of data research based
On the store, no, but after the commercial, those kids, we showed the other kids.
So that was your focus group.
Right.
So you used a focus group. I'll tell you what I thought about. I thought about the case in Philadelphia that just recently was took place in Fishtown, where the 2 kids and girl beat up their friend and killed him.
But that was over money. This is over Cheerios.
Yeah, but this is what it made me think about. So that's what I thought about.
But they use rocks and an axe. We used to.
But they also laughed about it afterwards.
Well, they were on drugs also. I'm assuming.
I agree. I
And
agree,
you
but I'm
cannot
telling you, it's
tell
what
that it's
made
a phone bat.
it brought that to mind.
Well, we
Also-
had a big red like play bat, but that broke. So that bat was completely foam. It wasn't a real bat.
Right,
I
but you
assume.
can't
So.
tell.
In fact, I would assume it was. Otherwise, they
Yeah.
would be seriously injured.
But you can't tell when you look at the commercial that it's a phone bat.
No,
No.
no.
Again, it's perception.
But very. I'll give you this. It was very clever, and it was produced well. The music. I want to ask you something about the music. I think at the end of the song, it asks about having a cigarette.
I was unaware of that. It was
You made it, didn't you?
yes, I did, but due to the music and the time frame, that was the only song on the computer that I felt fit the commercial.
So you were in too much of a rush.
Well, it was only one day I could get the TV studio.
Whoa.
Wow, there's a shot.
There's a shot across the bow of
Yeah.
the organization.
Next time I'll charge him.
But
I
you
really-
knew it was in there?
Well, I originally planned on using another computer with an Eye of the Tiger theme, but I was unable to obtain that computer. So I had to make do with what I had, and I feel I made a good commercial.
I know you do that, otherwise I wouldn't have presented it. But I'm wondering, did you know that there was a suggestion to have a cigarette at the end of that song?
No, I did not know.
Okay, and that greatly affects who your target market originally was.
Yeah, so not only are you urging them to have Cheerios, but you're also urging them to have cigarettes.
I will say that at the end, that the saying that you projected on the TV was wonderful.
Thank you.
I think it was a clear message, and unfortunately, if that music wasn't behind it, stating that, I think that would have been perfect at the end.
Yeah, this is a
And
very,
you may
very,
have needed to end the music prior to them actually using that.
this is very, very difficult because they both have redeeming qualities and they both have detracting qualities,
That's right.
as in any effort by human beings. However, again, I like to stick to the criteria, and part of the criteria, and we talked to the other team quite a bit about this, was teamwork. Now, who were the members of your team and what did they do?
Oh, we have 8 members on our team. I felt I didn't need to use all 8 members to my commercial. I used 6 of them.
Well, what did they do? Who were they?
I had Matt. He was the cameraman.
Pat.
Matt. He was cameraman. Ed was the original talent actor, but he scared the kid, so we could not use him. He put a mask on and the kid started crying, so we had to make do with it. We had to get another student.
So what else did he contribute?
He was just there.
So far,
So we
who
can
was
have-
all right, go ahead, continue. Yes,
No,
two.
you can say what you want to say.
Now, go ahead, continue on here.
I had Kevin. He was he helped the children because there was a lot of children there. He got them out of the way because we had to borrow one student. He was there. He was making the children happy, so they didn't come in the commercial. I had Jim. He supplied the Cheerios for the kids, and the best part was when he brought
That was
the
his
Cheerios.
contribution?
Yeah.
Bringing the Cheerios?
Uh-huh.
That's it?
Yeah, it's a hard job. Brought the Cheerios and helped us with the commercial.
I can get that in 30 seconds across the street. Wow, back. Boom. 30-second contribution.
Well, that was his contribution,
All right, next.
and that's about it.
That's 4.
Well, I used 4 then.
You said 6.
Well, I'm mistaken. My counting.
You said 4, and then it turns out, you said 6, and it turns out it's 4.
That's 4.
Cigarette advertisement, you didn't know.
Well, I didn't look up the lyrics when I was making the commercial.
Wouldn't you think that would be again, isn't that part of the project, though, is to have all that kind of thing covered?
I guess so.
And again, I think in this simulation, and again, I guys, keep in mind playing a role, please. I think they're both very, very well constructed, and I think you've done a lot of work here, and I'm not discounting that, but I'm trying to make sure that we cover both the role that we're playing here, as well as the criteria that we talked about when I met with you last, and we said teamwork, creativity, innovativeness, and believability. And I think what happened to the other 2 members of the team? They just
The other 4 members.
4 members. Well, yeah, because we're 6, and then 4 really. And then,
Well, you're a businessman. If you can do a job with 4 people, would you rather do it with 4 people, or would you rather pay 8 people to do a job?
How long did you have to do this project?
2 weeks.
2 weeks. In 2 weeks, to make an effective commercial, I believe you would need all the hands you could possibly get.
I feel we made an effective commercial within
And
2 weeks with 4 people.
I
If I'm running a
also
business- if I'm
believe
running a
if you were the
business-
project manager,
But if I'm running a business-
to stand up here and to lie within 2 minutes to change your story is not an
But
effective
if I am running a
project
business,
manager.
if you're a business person, can you run a business with 8 people? If you could run it with 4, would you run it with 4?
well, you have a valid point.
No,
I agree
you wanna-
with you.
so you're
because-
gonna pay 4
but
people
here's-
to do
here's
You
the-
already had the 8 people. Do you understand? It's not.
But if I'm
The
running a
8
business
people
and
were
paying them,
assigned to
if
you.
I'm paying them a salary,
You're not paying them a salary. They were assigned to this
But-
project. You had 8 people assigned to a project. You're not paying them a salary.
but if in the real world standards, they will be paid, unless they're doing it for free.
You know, let's go this way. You're right. I agree with you
Okay.
in general. We have a school, 1,000 students. We try to run it with the minimum number of employees. We don't try to have extra employees hanging around just for fun. However, in your particular case, you said you missed the lyrics.
Yes.
You could have had one person whose job it was just to do quality control on the lyrics. You said you didn't have time to look up the lyrics. You said you couldn't get another computer. These are things that other people could have done.
Well, I assume so. We couldn't get another computer because they were being used. So,
Or maybe somebody else could have done something at a different time, or somebody could have done the research on the lyrics at home, Googled up the songs and found out that what was there. So the concept, and also the other side of business leadership, is to be able to get people to work in teams, and that's a critical aspect of any successful business in this country today and in the future, is teamwork. Our whole focus here at the school even is to develop faculty teamwork, administrative teamwork. Because, again, yes, you can go out and do it yourself, but maybe you'll miss a critical component, like suggesting to sell cigarettes to kids, which I think is going to result in 0 sales. I think if a parent heard that, and I don't care how long their kids are tugging on their aprons, they're not going to buy that product.
I was
to
unaware
mention the
again
violence.
of the cigarette song. If I was aware of that, it would have
Again, I
changed.
just saw it for the first time, and it just jumped right out of it.
All right.
So you looked at it how many times?
I don't know. That'd be the second time I watched it completely through.
You only watched it twice before
Well,
you
that's
decided.
because you didn't use the whole team. If you had your team set up so that you had, even if you didn't have them actively involved, here's where the elements of the team that weren't involved could have viewed it with fresh eyes and ears in this particular case, and they may have been able to pick up those things. Why do I drag people into meetings when they really don't want to be in the meetings? I drag them in because I want input from various directions. Part of being a good team leader is being a good listener as well as an organizer. So I think, again, this is a very, very tough decision because I think if we look at the quality of the production itself, I think your product, the green, was it monkeys? Is that correct?
Yes,
Green
that's
monkeys.
correct.
I think you fit in with the time frame better. The audio was better, catchier. Certainly caught my attention. We could quibble on this question of violence, whether it's cute or not. We could quibble on that, and that's not necessarily a good thing, but you can quibble on it.
That's correct.
But I think the suggestion of cigarettes and the lack of teamwork are big detractors in this particular effort. And that's that. And now, on the other side, I thought certainly your content was cleaner from a negative standpoint. You went way overboard on time. It almost became a short story. But I could envision taking this concept, editing it down, and you could come up with a viable commercial out of that product.
I agree.
You could take some of that extraneous video material, take that away, go back to just where, of course he can't do it, and then he can, And again, I'm not sure Cheerios sells this athletes and Cheerios. I'm not sure about that. Did you do any? Well, we missed the chance to do that. I can't ask any more questions, right? We're pretty much in on that. I'm not sure you had any market data to show that that's the direction you want to go in.
But it's a risk.
But it's a
And
risk.
there's nothing wrong with taking a risk in business.
That's correct. May result in a lot of lost money, but nothing wrong with taking a risk. And what I think was a big plus was that you did involve your team. And that is a critical component. And again, and guys, I'm going on the criteria that was established for this particular activity. So based on that, in a very, very close decision, I'm going to give the decision to the Magna team. Now, I guess the losing team has to present
Are we coming to the boardroom?
yes. Isn't that how this goes?
Yes.
Yes.
Is Magna Corp stepping out?
Yes.
Yeah, Green Monkeys will choose the board.
I would like to bring Matthew, Masiska, and Brittany with me.
And why did
Brit-
you choose them?
Well, Brittany's not here. She wasn't really here during any of the production. And Matthew's my right-hand man. I trust him, so I feel he'll defend me.
Okay. You're choosing somebody who's not present right now?
Yes, we're going to have someone represent them, though.
You know what?
I
How
don't
many
believe
people
that's...
are here?
Yeah, we're gonna put somebody in, we talked
Guess you guys
about
didn't talk
Okay.
about that.
fighting for that position.
Oh.
Okay.
We talked about if they'll represent them fighting for that position like it's their own.
Okay.
Okay.
Okay. Okay.
Basically, why you're here in the boardroom is because you had an inherently better product that lost to a basically less well-produced, with a less well-produced product, the other team, because of your teamwork. Now, whose fault is that?
It'd be my fault. I was project manager. I edited it. I produced the whole commercial, so if anyone's fault, it's my fault.
You knew teamwork was a critical component.
But again, I'm going with my statement. If I can do a good job with 4 people, I'll do it with 4 people, not 8 people.
But you were given 8 people.
If I did it effectively with 4 people, I feel, not 8 people.
I'll say something, please.
Yes.
What he says that he would like to do some job with more like with 4 people than with 8 people. I think that is completely wrong, because I think that 2 persons can do much more job than 1, and
Absolutely.
4 people can do much more job than 2 people. And if I have choose, and the fact is that they are not working for the money, so if there is 8 members of our team, I think that each of them should be included in this project, and every of them can come up with some ideas how to make this product better, because just 4 people, I don't know if you understand what I'm saying, and I think that is better the project manager. So
Well, Mrs. Wagner, who has a lot of experience in this regard, pointed out that you were not, once again, you were not under some salary constraint.
But
This
I
was
took
not a
this-
situation
I
where
took this to a
you would have
business
lost
standpoint.
money. Your team was already composed of 8 people. You were presented a team with, that if this was a viable business, those salaries are already covered. You're not losing money by
If it was a real
incorporating.
business, I'd send it back to the boss and tell him to find another job, because I did the job with 4 people, not 8 people. I'm sticking
I
by.
think
Look
one of
who's
the-
in the boardroom.
One of the bigger reasons.
I made a better commercial. You're going by cigarette and violence, which is completely wrong. Because there's violence on TV and there's cigarette ads on TV.
I think you're missing the point. The point. Let's go back to the criteria that I was handed. We can read it.
Number one,
You
time
will be judged.
constraint.
Listen to what it says. You
Then
will
I'll
be
just
ju-
leave. Then you
Listen
fire
what
me
it says. You will be judged on teamwork, creativity, innovativeness, and believability. What's the first criteria on this list?
I think one of the reasons that we did not use so many people on the team was because we were, in order to get the way we wanted the commercial to be done, we couldn't film it in school. The little kid, we had to be at a place a certain time after, and it was after school. So Greg, it was me. I know that family, and I came up with the idea, and so I knew exactly who I wanted to be in the commercial. So we went to that house after school and brought only the people. We didn't need 2 carloads of people to go over there and just watch or whatever. And yeah, I'm sure we could have had people listen to the music or check the lyrics and stuff like that. But I think we came up with just as good a commercial with as many people as we used.
You came up with maybe a better produced commercial, but with serious flaws.
Right.
And their flaw was 2 minutes and 20-second long commercial. If you want to air that and pay extra money, then go ahead. There's a better product then.
But I don't think they would get thrown off by the FCC
But
because they're advertising cigarettes.
everyone's gonna change the channel. Everyone's gonna change the channel. It's boring as hell. I don't like it. I don't think you like it. I don't think you're going to the standard of the cigarette and the violence.
And the teamwork.
But the 4 of us work better than 8 of us
But
together.
let's go back to your point.
I know the
Your
teamwork was
point.
lacking.
You got a good point.
Right.
Okay. I think that you had to do some organizational work.
Right.
But isn't that part of what this was about?
I know the teamwork. Yeah, I know the teamwork is a big part, but I thought more importantly was to get what you guys wanted, which was a commercial.
And don't you think there would have been other jobs? Maybe you didn't need 2 carloads to do that one part of the commercial, but there's a lot more that goes into a commercial than just filming that one part.
Well, our editing, we only have 2 people who have ever even been in video tech and knew how to edit. And at the time, I went in there with them to edit the commercial, but I wasn't even allowed after that because we only had like an access period. And then after that, it was just him because there was a class in there. And then he didn't even get to stay all the time. So I think that's another thing why we only use a small amount of people.
Well, again, I don't want to beat a dead horse, but I think what Ennis said has a ring of believability here. I think if you had started with brainstorming
We did.
We did. I had a list of ideas we made up from all the groups and all the people. But
and then take the tasks that you thought were going to have to be necessary to complete this correctly and assigned different people different tasks. Maybe you're right, there's not enough room in the editing lab, there's not enough time to go get everybody together to do all of this. But I think pieces of this could have been done by other people and it may have eliminated this problem as well as achieved the central criteria, the first criteria, teamwork.
But let's look. That's 1. There's 4 of them. Look to the other 3, and we excel in the other 3. We don't excel in the 1.
I don't necessarily agree that you excel in all the elements.
Okay, well that's your.
I thought both of them were very creative.
I've seen the other one
yours
1,000 times in all the
was
commercials.
more believable, but I thought both of them also had innovative aspects to it. Anything else, Mrs. Wagner?
Well, I just think as a project manager, I think you have a very bad attitude. And if that's the attitude that you portrayed to the other 4 people who didn't get an opportunity to participate, they probably didn't want to
If
participate.
they wanted to participate, they could have asked, and they would have been more than happy to participate.
But isn't the project manager's job to find the way to make the team work?
I had 4 people, and I did a good job with 4 people, not 8 people.
Well, I think you're missing the point.
Okay, well then I am. Then fire me.
Well, again,
I was the hardest working. I worked harder than everyone else. I did everything. I edited it all myself, and I presented it myself. So, I worked harder than everyone else.
key phrase you're using. There's a key word in here.
And I believe I is in team. That's my standpoint. I've been living it for 18 years. I do everything myself. No one can do it better than me. That's how I
No.
feel.
Unfortunately, that's not how it works in the real world.
Well, in the real world of my life, that's how it works, and
You've
it's just me.
You got 18 years under your belt, and you got another 80 or so to go. So
Well, then
we'll see how it plays out in the rest
All right.
of the rest of the time. Just keep this conversation in mind for the future.
I will.
But I think as a consequence of this, I think when we evaluate this, it's not really too complicated as to where they missed up. The step they missed. I think that production and all of that was fine, technically sound. I think Annis hit it on the head when he said that 8 heads could have contributed 4 more heads worth of knowledge and ideas here. I think he worked hard on it. I don't discount that. But in the final analysis, lack of teamwork killed you, and as project manager, it was your responsibility to bring this team together. So, you're fired.
You fired the hardest working person here, Mr. Domenico.